Thank you for watching this video from the Center for European Studies at Carleton University. This interview was conducted by the Canada-Europe Transatlantic Dialogue and the Center for European Studies, EUCE, at Carleton University. CETD receives funding from the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada, and CES receives funding from the EU Commission and Carleton University. The views and opinions are solely those of the speaker and do not reflect the views of the CETD, CES, SHIRC, the EU Commission, or Carleton University.
Hi, this is Alex Schindler from the Center for European Studies at Carleton University. I'm joined today by Dr. Tatjana Muravska. Dr. Muravska is a visiting professor in the Center for European Studies. Her research focus is on social and economic issues in the EU12, including structural reforms and implementation of the EU structural and cohesion funds. Dr. Muravska is a professor of regional and European integration studies at the University of Latvia. During the CT conference, you were talking about this notion of newly member states instead of new member states, and your talk was about the monetary integration maturity. So, as we know, national currency is usually one of the symbols of national identity, national independence, sovereignty, and in the case of Latvia, which has actually a very dramatical history, that Latvia lost its independence in the middle of 20th century and regained the independence after the collapse of Soviet Union. So, you think this notion of losing sovereignty, and in terms of financial crisis that is now, you can observe it in Europe, was there any fears within the Latvian society about Euro adoption?
Yes, the question is very interesting. However, we should keep in mind that when newly member states enter the European Union, they automatically agree with the adoption of euro. So all people that were voting in favor of the joining the European Union, they automatically voted for euro adoption. Of course, to lose the national identity element, because currency is only one element of the national identity, it's sad, but at the same time, on the other hand, we have benefits, and people understand the benefits. So the benefits is more economic stability, and then it also gives the possibility for the economic prosperity or the positive economic development. So closer cooperation with the member states of the European Union, financial stability, that is very important. And countries can, including the Baltic states and people that live in the countries in Baltic states as well as in Latvia, they understand the notion of stability. And during the crisis, that very serious outflow of people, out-migration, that was damaging for the economy. And if we are closer cooperating and integrating in the European space, it might provide people with the better quality of life in the future. So that's why this sense of stability, and that's why it is appreciated by most of Latvians.
It's a very interesting opinion, especially in terms of, I've read a number of articles of different Eurosceptics, and one of the questions that they are basing their criticism toward European Union is on this failure of framing of European identity, meaning that Germans still remain Germans, Italians still remain Italians, French still remain French. The only state from the EU 15 is Luxembourg, where the level of European identity was about 20%. What is the situation with this European and/or national identity in Latvia in terms of what you said about this very positive attitude towards Euro adoption?
Well,
to what extent Latvians feel themselves
understand, however,
European?
I think it's probably different angles of the same issue of identity. And the currency is also one of the elements, as we discuss, of the identity. Yes, I think many people don't want to, for example, lose as I'm continuing the previous issue of the identity, and Scandinavians do not want to adopt euros, as well as we know UK is strongly against it. But the feeling of identity, this is something else, right? And in the feeling of identity, I believe, and according to my understanding, knowledge, and to my discussion with students, most of them feel themselves as Latvians, which is understandable. However, with the development of the European Union further and new programs, and for example Erasmus program that is absolutely unique in the world and exists only in the European Union, we are receiving in Latvia many Erasmus students and many students of Latvians, many students of Latvia are going to other countries and abroad. So the sense of belongingness to Europe in this younger generation is of course very great, and it's growing, but at the same time we cannot exclude the feeling of being Latvians, and I think it is also highly appreciated. And what is also important, that in the European Union we have 24 official languages, and the status of Latvian language as a language is also confirmed at the accession, and we have an official language. All documentation is translated in all the languages, including Latvian, and that's why our language, and we are as a country in Europe so integrated with the other, that probably have the dual feeling for the people that live in Latvia, being Latvians and at the same time being Europeans.
Well, thank you very much for such an interesting interview. It was Oleg Schindler from the Center for European Studies and Dr. Tatjana Muravska from the Center for European and Transition Studies at Latvian University. Stay with us. Thank you.